Hello there, and welcome to episode 4 of Flame Throne. So, by now, I gotta say, this place is starting to look like something. In the previous episodes, we have set up our home, and I must say I'm pretty pleased by what we're seeing here. We're picking up various different materials. The stone workshops are brimming with different types of grays and browns and the wonderful colors of the mountain. We also, well, our food stockpiles are a little bit lowish, but altogether, survival is working on out quite nicely. What we did achieve in the previous episode was a extensive cartography of the magma ocean. So by now we have a better idea about where the treasures are hidden. Pretty much the big idea of mine behind all this is that I want to know where we are going to drill deep down below for the adamantine mining, because this entire probing party here left a series of tunnels that opened up the knowledge for the caverns, all three tiers. So we can now navigate and plan a way down below that will also be efficient for our workers, because it'll be an extensive industry. Adamantine is no joke. It is really dangerous. There's a lot of work involved. You have lousy ratios. It's really a nightmare of a task. But we'll be going right through that, and I'm honestly looking forward to it because, yeah, we're also going to have a big reward at the end. I plan to have at least one adamantine clad squad. I honestly want to have two, but, well, one thing at a time. Either way, this place, as we have set it up so far, is good enough for our fort to get to the 50 people mark. I think after that we'll need to expand. We're currently building a tavern and a dining hall, and yeah, between that, I'm doing these things. As we see, our volcano goes all the way down to the magma ocean, so that's a really fun thing. As that means we really have a lot of material to work with. This is what's making me so excited about it. Alright, so let's delete the old jobs here. I just want to punch a hole into the ground. But safety first, I didn't dare to carve into this wall. It might be magma behind it, but I didn't see coming. And I don't want to burn my miners. They're valuable. Very valuable people. There we go. So, there's that. And let's make a hole in the ground. And just like that, more knowledge. So, turns out that obviously we need to slap a hole in the ground there yet another time. And yeah, but we're getting there. We're seeing the end of the tunnel. Unintended. So, let's see. Boom. And I think I'm going to stay upstairs here. Let's see. This is a pretty extensive task, but very much worth it. There we go. So here the same course of action. We also gain a lot of granite to work with. I should really put granite on my tab as well. Obviously, there's a lot of it to be found down here, because we will dig out a lot of terrain here in this layer as well. This is where we will be working eventually. So, another thing that I will try to achieve this episode is to acquire some weapon-grade magma. So, for that purpose, first up, we require a chamber, a collection chamber. So we're going to dig that there. Magma collection chamber. Easy peasy, just like that. We're making it a big old collection chamber, so we have something to work with. There we go. That does the trick. Next step, we want a bridge right there to seal off this thing. quartzite block does the trick, as quartzite is an innately magma-safe material. Or is it? I need to double check now. There's so many stones in the game. I might have a pretty good memory, but don't want to rely exclusively on that. Yep. It is. There we go. That's step 1. Step 2 is a door here, because honestly, I like to have several layers of protection from dorkiness. Mine, or inebriation-sourced darkness. Okay. There we go. So, then I think we are going to have to do another construction in here. So, funny thing, in case you didn't know yet, walls are innately magma safe. Ooh, artifact time. So, I think we are going to make a funnel like that. Yeah, I just excavated that, I know. So, we're doing it like that. Something like that. Alright, so who's on the artifact task? Zuthan, the tavern keeper, and he's already fully on it. So Zuthan, just a couple of obsidian boulders he grabbed. So, it's time to give somebody a little bit of a look here. Ooh, he's a lone anvil one. Alright. So, my man, welcome to the main cast. I don't want to have exclusively people that that come from here on the main casts, because that's not necessarily the thing. I like to pick up people that stand out somehow. So, he never acts without prolonged deliberation, even to his own detriment and the harm of those around him. Okay. He's truly fulfilled by assisting those in need after experiencing trauma. I love that. An obsidian bracelet it is. Give me a sec, Zuthan. He never feels lustful passions. He's quick to anger and he's very humble. He's quite comfortable with others that have different appearance or culture, and he tries to keep his things orderly. He has a calm demeanor, and he sometimes acts with little determination and confidence. He doesn't cling tightly to ideas, and he is open to changing his mind. He's quick to form negative views about things. What a dwarf. So that's been the fault of a dead goblin here. So he's to blame. So he's quick to form. No, he's not inherently proud of his talents and accomplishments, and he can easily fall in love or develop positive sentiments. But he's not lustful about that, mind you. What a weirdo. He has a tendency to consider ideas and abstractions over practical applications, and you, my man, will be a scholar one day. He often feels envious of others, and he generally acts impartially and is rarely moved to mercy. He has a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others. He holds his breath when he's nervous. He likes graphite, lead, milk, opal, amber, canna fabric, the color brown, suns, tables, monarch butterfly men for their coloration, the worlds of the tulip of petals, and the sound of the cerulean couple flute. Okay. He prefers to consume giant koala. What a weird taste. Mussel, peach cider, and fisherberry seeds, and he absolutely detests snails. Who doesn't, Zuthan? Who doesn't? Now then, so what I notice is that my food stockpiles are dwindling, so we need to pick up some stuff that we can mince and cook. And yeah, you know the drill. I mean, eventually we will have no more troubles with food whatsoever, because the quarry bush will kick in, and the animal industry as well, because we're acquiring more and more animals with every wave of immigrants. They're breeding, and eventually they are a safe source of meat. But the point is eventually. We are not there yet. So, back to the magma collection chamber. So this part here is pretty much worked out. What's important for me is that I have a way to lock off the flow from the volcano, because obvious reasons. So we won't be able to harvest too much magma from here because we're only taking top shelf. Top shelf means that, well, I don't even know if this will refill. I'm not very sure about it. We'll see. The big bounty is when we go deeper, but this is also very dangerous to do, and probably will need to sacrifice a worker to the mountain. But more about that on another occasion. Ritual sacrifice should not be foreshadowed lightly. So I will punch a hole in the ground here. Why I'm doing this is primarily to have a good overview about where we can already see adamantine veins. For example, this is an adamantine vein. We can see gemstone, obsidian. This is the tracing of it. This goes downstairs, deeper, 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 until it reaches the circus, as we like to call it. And, well, we should not dig that deep. So, well, we have quite a long job ahead of us. That's one thing I'm convinced about. It's going to be a long, long job. All right, so as you see there, our miners are taking their sweet, sweet time. It's only because it's a pretty long walk. And now we're going to do what we came for. And this is, by the way, a marker for finding an adamantine vein. Oh, we found it this time directly. So this means that we are deep enough to get a direct hit on it. There. So I think, yeah, it is submerged here in the magma. Dwarves have an exceptional sense for these things. But basically every one of these pillars eventually yields adamantine. Don't fool yourself. You just have to dig deep enough. And then that's always a given eventually. As far as I know, at least. I haven't found a single pillar that had no adamantine yet. Tell me if this is possible. Then I'll take everything back I said. So, but apart from my rambling, we have now a pretty detailed map of this place. There are a few blots in between, so here we could use a little bit more intel. Down here we have a complete blind spot, so we probably should dig there too, huh? Let's do that. Because I want to have I want to make a informed decision. The thing is, when we start drilling downstairs to that spot, it's gonna be no small thing to get there and all. If you get my idea. So I want to choose the path that has the highest yield, so our efforts have a good payoff. Makes sense. Alrighty, so yet another winding staircase. And one scholar of our midst is visiting. Always love to see that people from our civilization are traveling abroad, visiting our places, saying hi. And as you see there, the last harvesting action brought a good amount of food. Let's just keep going like that. There we go. Meanwhile, I gotta say, I'm very, very proud of my magma scouts. They're doing a great job. By now, we have a pretty good map of where we should go, and then we must find a pathway that not only leads to a adamantine vein, but also is not peppered with too many reroutings that we need to take because we breached the caverns. I'll do that usually between the episodes because I often need some triangulation time to find a good spot. So, yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. I think this one should do the trick. Boom. There we go. So, yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. There are a couple of corners still, but, well, I think the most important parts we got. And I don't even want to plan today where we're going to hit town in Adamantine Land. It's not about that. It's not about time yet. We are going to go and see what we can do here. Huh. I really need some dacite blocks. Some gray block for everyday needs, you see. Or we could do... yeah, well, let's take granite. That's brilliant. So... there is a blank spot for you, my friend Granite. I think this will not be the last stone we're picking up. There's quite a wide variety here. We do have a lot of dacite, though. Anyways, so in between that, we're going to install now our dining hall. Let's do something like that. There we go. Little stockpile for prepared meals. There. The fetching order from big stockpile. As soon as I find it. Ah, there. It's the same floor. And back there will be the tavern. So we're going to use the extra cavity that the gemstone gave me for the chest. And here we're going to store some booze. So the drinkers don't have that much of a walking time to do. Alrighty, so let's announce the tavern. There. So, Zutan, the tavern keeper, come on, you're main cast, so let's get you in there where you're supposed to work, right? Wonderful. And down there, that dining hall. There we go. Finally, some civilization in this dreary place. So, let's see. I bet that we have plenty of unclaimed rooms so far, right? Right. Beautiful. So that helps. Let's get back here. I just needed to do a few granite blocks because I want to put my levers on floored ground. You can't floor the ground after the lever has been placed down. That's just what it is. And we have our first slaughtered animals. So some might call you uncivilized only because you're eating dog meat. But that does not mean that you're uncivilized. That only means that you have a dog farm. I personally would never do that, but I'm not a dwarf either. I'm also not drunk all day. So, little do I know about dwarven appetites and philosophy. Okay. There's, alright, the thieving and mischievous creatures are deep dwellers in this case. I was already thinking surface dwellers, but no. For once, it's the scoundrel of the deep. Alright, so we need now 2 levers for each one, because we want to coordinate the whole magma harvesting process, obviously. And what I also want to establish already, yeah, we're going to need way more than that, obviously. Oh, shoot. Going to establish already exits. I don't know where these will lead, but the thing is, when this thing is filled with magma, I cannot build further entrances without pouring magma. So the gist of it here is that every exit that I want to have must be present when the whole system is being set up. Afterwards, it doesn't work. It's just learning by doing. Personally, one of the things that I love so much about this game that you really notice the longer you play it, the more you have an eye for these things, the more problems you halt before they even happen because you've already been down that road. You already had your fun with magma another day. We're forgetting about the entrances and you had to sacrifice somebody to the magma god. It happens. It happens. It's not a shame. All right. So we're going to link these now together. And at this point, it is very important to note that every one of the mechanisms that I'm using here has to be magma safe. Otherwise, the magma will just burn away the mechanisms and you are left with a bridge that you can't raise anymore. Been there, done that. It's all experience. Alright, so, but we're also almost there with preparations. Then we just need a brave soul to start the harvest. But in this scenario, in all honesty, it is not even a dangerous task. Because we took all the safety precautions a dwarf could take. I'm still digging an extra corridor with a blast door that I can seal just in case that something goes horribly wrong. Yeah, I did prepare everything perfectly. There's nothing to worry about, Jurist. Just do your job. Jokes aside, I happen to be very skeptical about my preparations in general. I do... I like to call it a scientific approach because at the end of the day, you know, there's you get only one shot at the whole deal, and if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. Of course, you can't save and reload, but we're doing a Let's Play series here, and I'm not doing this, so I like to avoid that on my series. So, next step. We are flicking the switches, especially the two here. I want to seal off these. I want not a speck of magma. Eventually I will come from upstairs and expand the tunnels from there. Let's prepare that work already. Like this. We can go from here. And like that. So we can then excavate the tunnels as we see fit and we need to. Yeah. This keeps everything expandable. That's the most important part about it. The expandability of the system. As long as we're doing it like that, we can decide any other time of day that we want to change up something about that. If not, well, then you have people dying to change something, which is also not the end of the world, obviously, because in Dwarf Fortress always new people migrate to your place. But, well, I happen to grow quite attached to my little dwarfs. Alright, so we got all this. Next step, very important. We're going to forbid all the boulders in the tunnel system, just to make sure that not some jurist comes last minute trying to fetch that obsidian boulder before the flood comes. I've seen it all. Alrighty, so we got all that. Last step, our brave miner has now the sacred task to tunnel these three squares. Tunneling destroys the walls down below. Since we are here sitting on the shelf of it, there is no risk involved for us whatsoever. Since we done everything correctly, that is. You only know it afterwards. I am now walling off this part because I don't want any external entrance to my fortress, and that would be one. So the same goes for the entrance to the caldera here. So we're taking this very, very carefully. Next step, we're obviously pulling the switch here to fill a chamber. And then we finally got ourselves our first little magma thing. We could even go as far as building up our first magma workshop on top of that if we wanted to. I really do consider setting up a magma workshop quite soonish, although the problem is we could only make clay? Magma sourced clay? I don't know. Can we do any weaponized things out of that? We'll see about that on another occasion. I said flick the switch, Jurist. Sometimes you need to prioritize it. It is just what it is. There we go. That's what we all came for, didn't we? Ah, love it. So, we're emptying the caldera a little bit, but if it works as I think it does, this thing does refill itself naturally. But, oh, you fool. Oh, come on, you! You had one job. Seriously, I hate it when they do that. Let's try that again, shall we? A couple of the stones dissolve, as dacite is not a magma-safe stone, but as you see here, the obsidian mechanisms in the bridges, they don't dissolve. They would, if they would be made out of different material. That would be the moment where you couldn't close the chamber anymore. So, let's try that again. This time, they'll take the boulder from here and place it there, so I'm quite optimistic that it won't go down the same as the last time. Alright, but as you see here, we're also not achieving a full workload of magma here. Let's see. But it seems to me as there is a slow refill happening. Let's see. I mean, we can actually try it out. If the whole place here is at a filling level of 7 eventually, this thing does refill. We just have created a new cavity, and it does look a lot like that's the case. Magmalogy. Already doing some dwarven science here. Good job. Alright, as you can see here, this time the job worked out, and we got ourselves a good and safe spot to work with. I dare say that this is enough magma. I'm not that patient right now. I mean, if this whole caldera is on level 7 eventually, again, that does prove the same point also. So, anyways, we got some magma to work with, but not for this episode. I think we're going to reroute the enemy into some fun chamber where that stuff can make contact with my enemies. There, I said I don't. I won't be doing that today, did I? Yeah, that's how quick I can change my mind sometimes. Yeah, it's a very simple thing. We're just going to do a small room here. I keep it small because I want to make sure that I can fill it properly with magma. And, yep, that's the honey pot. There we go. Let's build a bridge there. And then we can safely reroute the invaders in there. Put some doors there for the uninvited guests. And I think we already have a pretty heavy safety system here. Holy crap. Seriously. Alright. So the last thing that this thing requires is a proper draining system, but we're going to build that on the next episode. So yeah, it was very important that this chamber must be smaller than this chamber, so the content of this one fills the entire room there, and yeah, uninvited guests will be properly incinerated. Yeah, well, let's see how well that'll work. Problem that I see is that if the attacking forces are smaller, are larger, then it might be hard to trap them all in there. But this entire problem can be resolved with more magma and a larger chamber. We'll see about that. Until then, I want to say thanks to you all. It's been my pleasure. We are getting somewhere here, my friends. We're only starting here our magma adventures. This is just the first baby steps of our magmalogy, and we'll see where that all leads us to. There's also a artifact in the making, and I'll leave it like there. So thanks for watching, everybody. Drop me your comments down below, leave a thumbs up, consider subscribing, check out the description box. You can find the playlist links to all the Let's Play stuff that I did for Dwarf Fortress already, and you'll also find the links to support the channel there, so feel free to knock yourself out. I'd be forever grateful. And at that point, I want to say a big thanks to everybody supporting the channel, and a big thanks to you watching this video right here, right now. So have a good time, and see you all on the next one. Bye bye.